This is Mandatory Listening, a podcast about the whats, whys, and hows of effective practical leadership shared by successful leaders and by your host, Dan Mann.
Welcome to Mandatory Listening, your host, Dan Mann. Joined today by Hank Mann. Hi, Hank.
How's it going?
And Kent Mann.
What's up?
Merry Christmas season.
Well, it's not, yeah.
Happy holiday shopping
Yeah.
season.
I don't know. I like Thanksgiving. Can't forget about it.
I love Thanksgiving. And
People skip over it.
Yeah.
people,
It's
they
a real
don't give
problem.
it its due.
They don't.
Yeah.
Around here at the Man Group, we love us some Thanksgiving. And we're recording this actually Thanksgiving week. Not quite celebrating the Thanksgiving week. Today we're going to talk about the holiday shopping season and everything associated with the importance of and the opportunities within the retail space for a great holiday shopping season. So that's our topic. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's called Black Friday for a reason, and that has to do with the day that most retailers go into the black, having been in the red for most of the year. So it's an important time of the year as retailers have a lot on the line now more than ever. You know, it's important that retailers do the right thing during this time of the year and take advantage of every single opportunity because most of our retail floors are covered with hungry, excited shoppers ready to spend money, and that is the prime season for retail.
And our sales floor is filled with sales associates who don't want to be there.
And that's and herein lies our conflict. Before we get to that very important topic, however, let's just talk about the holidays in general. And I'll start with just for you two, is there any particular holiday traditions, holiday music, holiday movies that you're into? What's happening in the space of the holiday cheer for you guys?
Well, growing up, we would always go see a movie after we had Thanksgiving. We're an early Thanksgiving family where turkey is served around 3 p.m. and followed shortly thereafter by a nap.
Naps.
A long, painful nap.
A long, very painful, well-deserved nap. Yeah, so I've always associated the Thanksgiving season, November in general, with going to see good movies. I just saw Bohemian Rhapsody. Great movie,
Very nice.
Great music. So I've been filling up my ears with Queen as of the last week or so.
Any favorite Queen song or any Queen song that doesn't get its proper due? I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody, of course. What comes in second for you?
A song that doesn't get a lot of praise is Under Pressure.
I was going to say that too.
We Are the Champions. We Will Rock You. These are some of the underrated, never played.
Try again.
I've never heard of those. Whoa.
Those must be the beat tracks.
Actually, a song that I discovered once again was A Kind of Magic. I'm kind of into that funky. I love the guitar in it and the whammy bar in it. It's just amazing. So, and seeing that movie just is all sorts of nostalgia. So definitely go see it if you haven't.
Christmas music / Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's my kind of Christmas music.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you, Hank? What kind of music are you listening to these days?
I've gotten into Billie Eilish, actually.
Oh, really?
A little bit, not too much. I just discovered her and her group. I like her sound. And a lot of Mandolin Orange, which is a little band that's from North Carolina that I figured out because I was listening to the Avett Brothers.
Every time I'm in the car with you, that seems to be the songs that pop up.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So we're going to be hearing a lot of Christmas music or holiday music during this time of the year. So
Embrace it.
You can't escape it.
Don't fight it.
Adds to the grind of the retail sales associate who's in seemingly a lot of overtime hours, seeing a lot of customers and listening to that same music over and over again. It's not hard to be demoralized by that. I know personally I spent a lot of Christmases in a mall or in a retail store with those 10, 12, even 15-hour work days.
Yeah.
Total exhaustion. So I know the pain that a lot of folks might be feeling this time of year.
Yeah, and plus the customers that they're dealing with right now tend to be pretty high stress. A lot of moving around, trying to get just the right thing. So it really pulls people down, I think.
Pressure's on.
Yeah, pressure's on.
Yeah. And never fear, audience. We've got your tips. We've got ideas for you so that during the holiday season, during the grind, when you're in there so many hours and you're looking to do the very best you can, there are some things to remember to make sure you're making the best use of the customer's time and taking advantage financially of this wonderful shopping season where customers are there ultimately to build a great tradition, a great memory, and offer some really special, meaningful gift to people that they love. So if you remember what's happening here, it's actually a wonderful time of the year. For those of us that are working and at the front line, we've got to remember that. It is opportune for our retail business, and it's opportune for the customers to take advantage of it. All of it comes together. Now's the time.
Yep, and I think it's a good time to try something new. If you're a sales floor associate, if you're a manager, a different way to motivate your sales team. It's an opportunity to try something new, give your team a new set of skills, a new set of weapons to really just develop. How do I deal with 5 customers at once? How do I recommend, add-on sales for stocking stuffers? That's a great way to I'm thinking of a running store. How do I get someone from shoes to socks? A lot of people really struggle with that. It's a great way. I know what really worked for me is just using the stocking stuffer line. Mm-hmm. And so given those tools to really empower those additional sales and it's the perfect season to not sound pushy because everyone's got to spend money for their loved ones.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I want to give a few stats and just a quick reminder that while most of us in this space believe that the world of Amazon and online has taken over and is absolutely controlling our destiny, that's not actually the case. In 2017, the holiday season, only 9% of all gift shopping was transacted online. Still, 91% of holiday shopping took place at brick and mortar. Consumers are still coming into the store. Consumers are still out and about. Consumers are still looking for that answer right now. I want to buy it today. I want to take it home today. I want to wrap it today. Yep. So we do have a tremendous advantage. And so retailers out there, don't be fooled into thinking that this is over and that the world has moved into a total online shopping. Now, by the way, hey, it's still awfully convenient to shop online when you're proactive and you got lots of space. Yep. But there are still going to be lots and lots of shoppers in your door looking for today's answer today.
Yeah, and don't be fooled into thinking that the holiday shopper is only looking for the deal. There's an opportunity for convenience as well. I can save you a trip down the road. I can save you a trip to another store. If you're a store that has a wide array of options that may not be known to people, if they're in a new town and they're looking for a last minute gift, you can be a perfect opportunity to close that gap in their gift giving.
Yeah, and differentiating yourself from everyone else, and that giving a great experience in a high stress time when people don't really expect a great experience.
Yeah, it's the holiday season. Like, put a smile on your face.
Good for you. And when you do that, you're making a big difference, in the life of that customer who's buying from you. There's a lot of pressure on Black Friday. It's often seen as the big day of the year. But as in the last decade or so, that's really moved to the Saturdays leading up to Christmas. So Black Friday might be a big day, but the Saturdays headed into the holiday season increasingly become more and more important, more and more desperate, with more and more opportunity. So don't miss those Saturdays.
Yeah, really, really sharpen your sword.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So here are we've got 6 tips for you. So we're saving the day for you with 6 tips to take advantage of the real opportunities you're going to face this year during the holiday season. We'll start with the first one, and it's pretty obvious, but keep it in mind. You need to speed up. It's about convenience, it's about speed, it's about urgency. For most shoppers who are out, they may be relaxing and enjoying their shopping, but most of those shoppers are there on a mission, intended to get some work done, get some things done. So as a sales associate, speed up. Let's get the urgency. Let's match that urgency, not losing track of friendliness and kindness and a big smile, but really taking advantage of the fact that we can do that customer a great service by speeding up.
Yeah, and those customers will leave and they'll spend their money somewhere else if you take too long.
TikTok is the way you got to think about it. You've got to take action, solve my problem for me, and solve my problem for me now. Yeah.
And really, taking your stride out in speeding up your game as a manager or associate, speeding up to a place that maybe you haven't been comfortable with, because you can afford to sacrifice some of that skill and proficiency. You can afford to drop 10% in proficiency for a 10% in expedience. And I think some customers will appreciate that. Of course, you have to read each customer as they come in and whatever your environment is. But it's a good way to test your stride. Can I do this in the off season 10% faster?
Yep. And so the accuracy piece might drop in the interest of speed, and a customer's going to probably appreciate that. Now, I want to add to that our second tip, which is the importance of a 5-star checkout. Now, accuracy may be dropped slightly in the exchange for speed, but not at the register.
Definitely not.
When it comes to the register, that customer is spending money. Now's the time to get it right.
Yeah.
So you want people at the register who understand the need for a proficient, accurate checkout, a 5-star checkout. Big smiles, lots of enthusiasm, and really, in a bottom line way, getting it done quickly and expediently for the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is an opportunity for, whether it be apparel or wrapping shoes or whatever it is, take that extra step when you're at the register and make sure it looks nice.
Yeah.
Fold the clothes up nicely. This is all year, but I'm saying if this is a gift for someone, make sure it's folded nicely. Make sure there's no creases, because if it's going to sit in a box for a couple weeks, you want it to look nice.
Yeah. You want it to be opened and look great.
Well, you're jumping ahead to the 6th tip, but that's okay. We'll come back to that.
How dare you?
Our next tip, in third in line here, is reinforce the choice. So once that customer has at the register and has made their decision, it's a good idea for the cashier or for anyone at the register there to reinforce what a great decision. I ran across this in a great article this week by Tom Griffin in a running magazine about how that last final reinforcement. This was a good decision. I think this is a great gift. The person receiving this gift is going to love it. That bit of reinforcement, Tom says, oftentimes really seals the deal and makes that customer feel better about the purchase. Don't forget to reinforce the choice.
And that seems so common sense, but it just doesn't happen as much as you think it should, really.
Yeah, well, let's pause for a second and talk about buyer's remorse when it comes to a gift.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Well, I mean,
look at the returns that happen.
There's so many returns. There's an influx of, family that you're talking to, repeat gifts. Maybe you bought a gift 3 months ago and it's been a repeat, and now, by circumstance, whoever bought the second version can't return it, and now you have to return yours. There's a potential pitfall there. So you have to be on your toes with reinforcing buyer's remorse. Think of that pair of shoes or that pair of socks as a car. Mm-hmm. Reinforce that decision.
Yeah, and as a gift buyer, I'm nervous. Am I getting something that the recipient's going to like? I'm uncertain. I'm torn. Okay, I'm going to buy this in blue. That little reinforcement. What a great idea! This has been very popular. What a great choice. Yeah. That goes a long way to going. Okay, good. I feel better about my choice.
Yep.
Yeah. Good move to make. So many of these things here happen at the register. I mean, you got to remember that during the holiday season, so much focus around the register and everything being done well there. That has to be the priority. Our fourth tip is a question you can ask every single shopper: who else is on your shopping list? It's a question that may feel like you're adding on, but it's really not. It's a question of helping a customer. Who else is on your shopping list? Well, Aunt Betty. Yeah, I got to go elsewhere. This is not a story Aunt Betty would like. Well, tell me about Aunt Betty. And if I can save you a step to another store or a trip to another parking lot, and I've got an answer for you for Aunt Betty, thank you so much. You've really saved me some time. You've really made my day easier. So it's not an attempt to take advantage of a customer. It's actually an attempt to help that customer. Who else is on your shopping list? Maybe I can save you an extra stop. Wow, thank you so much. I would have never thought of this choice for Aunt Betty, but that's such a great choice.
Yep, and that customer is going to be just as, I would say, more susceptible to that now in this frenzy. And I think oftentimes the sales associate is more likely to be hesitant about asking, but the customer is way more receptive to it. And so it's a miscommunication of body language. Oh, it's the holiday season. Big spending going on. I don't want to add on. I don't want to suggest anything. I'm looking out for your wallet. And then you've already made 6 different errors.
Yeah, and they're going to spend the money anyway.
Yep.
Right? They're going to have to get a gift for Aunt Betty.
Yep.
Let's save her some aggravation. Let's save some steps.
It's a great way. Now is the time to practice that transition.
That's right. Fifth tip, keep up your energy. I'll tell you, you're going to be working some long hours. You're on your feet. We talked about speeding up. We talked about focusing. It wouldn't be surprising that you missed a lunch, or that you didn't get a good breakfast, or that you worked a late shift and then couldn't get back to sleep. It is really important that you have a marathon point of view instead of a sprint point of view here. You've got to make it through the season. Eat well, sleep well, take care of yourself so that you're good on the job, you're good on the floor.
Yep. For those of us who feel maybe we're on the cusp of a promotion, or we're really developing into what could be either a manager or a post-managerial role, now is the time to really make yourself stand out on the team. Not saying you want to damage the team aspect, but this is a moment where you can take the leadership role to another level. And I don't care what your role is. You mentioned taking care of yourself. I would say too, don't forget to take care of your store.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your displays look nice. Make sure your inventory stocked.
Store maintenance.
Sweep the floors. And this is where pacing yourself, having your routine set, and having open communication with the team, that just because it's the holiday season, just because we're having a rush, doesn't mean that the cleanliness, that the bathrooms, toilet paper in the bathrooms, none of that gets neglected. That has to be one of the top priorities even now.
That's right. So take care of yourself, maintain your energy, look at this for the long haul, and the opportunities there for your customer, for you, are many.
Yep.
Our final tip is, and we talked about this as gift wrapping. Of course, this time of the year, many people are wrapping gifts, and that's a nice way to differentiate yourself. But even if you don't, think about the last few moments with that product that customer has bought. Because as you put that into its box, or fold that product and put it into a bag, it might be the last thing that's done to that product before it's opened, as the recipient receives the gift.
Yep.
And so take extra care with that product. And if it's that little piece of tissue paper that goes across, the product, or the little bit of extra attention provided to that product, that's the last time it may be touched or dealt with before it's open. So it's a special moment. Be sure you do it right. So we call it gift wrapping, but it's really, be sure that gift is ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
Getting the extra attention.
Ready to be opened, ready to be received.
And think about that as almost a sacred moment, really, if you would.
Yeah, and if there's an extra string hanging loose on the shirt, or if there's a smudge on the shoe because it was tried out, you mentioned tissue paper, but the wrapping paper that goes in the shoes, separating the shoes, make sure that looks nice.
Yeah.
Make sure if the box looks a little damaged. I mean, not only does that hurt the store's reputation, but it hurts the person giving the gift's reputation. There's a moment there. There's an opportunity there.
That's some attention to detail that's going to be very much appreciated. And it continues to add value to the gift all the way through the recipient.
And then in the specialty retail space, as well as anywhere, that extra step is the reason why people still shop at your store. Mm-hmm. And that's why you want them to shop at your store, because you're willing to go that extra mile.
Absolutely.
Or extra step.
Well, there you go, listeners. Mandatory listening has solved all of your retail holiday shopping stress by playing this podcast for your staff and making sure folks are focused on the right things, making the biggest difference during the season. We're at the end of our podcast, and I think we had an end of the podcast club. Ryan started with us a few weeks ago. That if you're here and you got some thoughts, send us that email, and we'd love to open an exchange with you and a conversation with you. You never know what's going to happen at the end of these podcasts. We may be offering something special. We might be offering something unique. So be sure you listen to us all the way through the end to enjoy the end of the podcast club, which was a great idea. Okay, fellows, any final thoughts or comments before we go to have Thanksgiving dinner and then into the holiday shopping season?
It's a long season, a couple months long. For many of us, some of us start Christmas shopping in June. Hang in there. I know it's tough. I know it's hard to be away from your family if you're working on the holidays. Sometimes the customers are going to be a little more gruff, a little more rushed, a little more non. It seems like all the people who don't want to deal with people come out of the woodwork on Black Friday.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally. Rush through, understand it's their holiday season too. They may not be as understanding to you, but the least you can do is be understanding to them and their schedule, and really get after it and differentiate yourself this season.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Depending on who you ask.
That's right.
Yeah.
Have a great holiday season, and thanks again for listening to Mandatory Listening.
That's it for this episode. You can find Mandatory Listening on iTunes or wherever you get and subscribe to your podcasts. We'd love to hear what you think, so make sure and leave us comments on iTunes or on our website at mangroup.net, where you'll find all of our episodes. That's MANNgroup.net. Thanks for listening.